Eagles over the Giants. That's your final. Seattle at Dallas. Tony Romo chatting it up with Roy Williams. Said, we're going to have a big day, big guy. We're going to have a big day. Romo back. Quick slant. There it is. Inside the corner, Roy Williams went 7-yard touchdown. 21-10 Dallas. And then third quarter, Romo back to Miles Austin. Looking back in the end zone. Great adjustment. Throw it to the outside, which he did. Austin adjust. Third 3-yard touchdown. Third touchdown pass for Romo on the day. 38-17 Cowboys. 49ers at Indy. Alex Smith, Vernon Davis, the tight end, 8-yard touchdown score. 14-6 49ers. Second half, Joseph Adai takes a handoff, single back, throws left-handed. Wide open is Reggie Wayne for a 22-yard score. 2-point conversion failed. 18-14 Colts beat the 49ers. Denver at Baltimore. Denver, now remember, they are undefeated on the road. Ladarius Webb, 95-yard kickoff return, touchdown. First play of the third quarter. Come on, relax, don't tighten up. Good job. There you see the final, 30-17. Denver loses its first game, Baltimore that is, wins. Miami at the New York Jets, Ted Ginn. 2 kickoff returns for touchdown. One is a 100-yarder. This one, my friends, goes 101 yards. Outstanding effort. What a beautiful job he does. 30-25 Miami. Up to New York, takes care of the New York Jets.
And Ted Ginn Jr., the first player in NFL history with 2 100-yard kickoff returns for scores in the same game. Impressive indeed.
Nice stuff.
Second half up next.
Cardinals, Bears. Next week at a special time, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific.
Okay, if you're thinking about getting a new truck, this is your lucky day. Make that month. But truck month's almost over, and so is your chance to get big savings on our best-selling trucks. Fortunately, luck has nothing to do with getting a heck of a great deal on a brand spanking new Ford Super Duty. Plus, Ford Credit is there to help you with the financing. Lucky you, because we just announced 0% APR for 60 months, plus $1,000 bonus cash or up to $6,000 cash back on an 09 Super Duty. Truck month ends November 2nd, so see your Ford dealer today.
What? The Dairy Queen double cheeseburger meal is just $3.99? This could be the greatest deal of all time.
I give you fire, you give me rock. Good deal.
Oh. Yep, the double cheeseburger deal's still the greatest. And less painful. The third-pound double cheeseburger combo with fries and a drink, all for just $3.99. It's quite a deal.
If you're tired of the revolving kind, try a familiar one that says, welcome. Stockyards Bank, building confidence since 1904.
Vision is so precious. That's why at Bennett & Bloom Eye Centers, we use the most advanced technology and techniques with cataract surgery, including the new multifocal implants that allow you to see far away and up close without glasses, just like when you were younger. A recent independent survey found that most area optometrists recommend Bennett & Bloom Eye Centers to their patients for cataract surgery. So look at the expert surgical hands of Drs. Donald Bennett and Stephen Mattis, and go where the doctors go. Bennett & Bloom Eye Centers.
Taco Tico. Now it's back with 3 locations. Taco Tico. It's all about the taste. Get your own.
Green light. Red light. Green light. Red light. Green light. Red light.
Avoid all the stop and go and beat the traffic. Coming soon on Fox in the Morning.
Customizable NFL gear. You create it. You design it. With any name, number, and color. Exclusive to NFLshop.com. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
On game day, Visa debit is easier than cash. More people go with Visa.
Minnesota will get the football to begin the second half, leading 17-3. Here are the key Yellow Book moments to look for in the second half. Troy Aikman.
You take a look at it in the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, all they really have to do is continue to do what they did there in the first half, and that is dominate the line of scrimmage. And then, of course, if the Packers have any chance of getting into this game and going on to winning this game, they have got to be able to give Aaron Rodgers more time to throw the football.
Well, the Packers offensively, one of the worst first halves of football in recent memory. Harvin gaining a little momentum from the 12, and he's still on his feet going the other way. And all the way out to the 37-yard line. Let's check in downstairs with Pam Oliver.
Well, Tom, Mike McCarthy was talking offense when I spoke to him at halftime. He said, you know what, we got to get some rhythm going, run the ball better, maybe go with some three-step drops. Meantime, Brad Childress was talking about playing sound football. He said we need to take care of the ball, keep our quarterback clean, and also play more aggressive. Back to you.
Well, we talked about the offense, Pam, and you just mentioned it. Mike McCarthy talking offense and not talking about 47 yards and a half. The fewest since 1999 in a first half of football by a Green Bay Packer team. Meanwhile, the numbers on Brett Favre, they're not spectacular, but solid.
No, they're solid, and they're solid because he was able to get into a comfort level early in this ball game and just complete some high percentage passes. And we saw it earlier, they only knocked him down one time, and they just have not gotten pressure on him. That was a point of emphasis coming into this game based on what happened the last time they met, but yet the results have been the same.
Adrian Peterson off the right side. Flags come in very late. Carries out to the 42, and again we wait on the flag.
Holding offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Yeah, Steve Hutchinson, the left guard here, and the play is going to be front side. But in order to try to cut off Cullen Jenkins, that's a hard block. And Steve Hutchinson is about as good as there is at the guard position. But when you're trying to get a guy who's slanting away and get in front of him, that's asking a lot.
Favre on second down, throws to the far side. And incomplete. He was looking for Sidney Rice. Good coverage out there by Tramon Williams.
You know, Green Bay throughout this ball game, we've seen them in a lot of sub defenses, and by that I mean 5 defensive backs. And you expect that whenever the Vikings come out with 3 wide receivers. But yet the Green Bay Packers are running their 5 defensive back packages even against the Vikings 2 tight end sets, which is somewhat unusual since that's a running formation.
Third and 17, a 3-man rush, and Favre's going to pick that apart all day long.
Well, you called it, Tom. I mean, rather than bring pressure on 3rd and long and make him get the ball out of his hands and then come up and make a tackle short of the first down, they go with a 3-man rush. And in essence, I mean, Johnny Jolly's no factor. It's a 2-man rush. And they've seen this before. I mean, if you give any quarterback, let alone Brett Favre, that kind of time, it's over.
Berrien took a shot from Atari Bigby. They want to see if he's okay after that first down reception out to midfield.
3. It's out. 3. It's out.
Bags fly free.
These are bags.
Bags fly free.
This bag.
Bags fly free.
That bag. Why do you charge for bags?
Why would they do that?
We don't gotta play that.
Why would they do that?
We don't gotta play that. Free.
At Southwest Airlines, bags fly free.
Bring it.
Airlines, bags fly free.
Bring it.
Airlines, bags fly free.
Bring it.
Airlines, bags fly.
Hi. What can I get for $1?
That's yours.
How far can I get with this?
You can get out.
Hi. What can I get for this? How about 2 sizzling 100% pure beef patties with all the amenities in a meaty, melty McDouble?
Or maybe an irresistible McChicken, golden fries, or any of the fabulous dollar menu tastes that are always here for you. Huh?
Wow. The dollar menu. Every day. Only at McDonald's.
It's not just car people anymore. Nowadays, all kinds of folks are changing their own oil. And with Walmart's unbeatable prices, they're changing where they get it too. You could save 30% or more on these top motor oil brands compared to the leading national auto specialty stores. Do it yourself costs less at Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By AT&T, your world delivered. By Walmart, save money, live better. Walmart. And by McDonald's.
It took Bernard Berrien a minute or two to gather his wits after taking that hit from Atari Bigby. It appears to be all right. Favre and the Vikings at midfield on first down. And Favre to throw it. Unbelievable protection. Throws into traffic. The catch made by Harvin. He cuts it back the other way and into the end zone. Touchdown, Percy Harvin. "51 yards on the pass play from the veteran Favre to the rookie Percy Harvin."
Yeah, and the Packers played coverage again in an attempt not to give up the big play, and as a result, Favre has a little bit of time. I mean, there's a little pressure up inside, but you see he's able to stay there and deliver it. Percy Harvin working inside. They've got some defenders there. He just goes up and makes the play. I mean, he makes the play on the ball. No one else does. And then it's Keystone Cops.
Two Packers colliding there. It looked like Nick Collins, who is down on the field injured, got cut by his own man in trying to converge on Percy Harvin. And could read his lips. He said, "I'm all right." But the Packers are definitely not all right.
You're going to see Nick Collins come into your screen, and this is how he gets hurt. You know, just the way that he came down. But on the outside, Tramon Williams, I mean, he jumps to the outside and just gave Percy Harvin just a straight shot at the goal line. I mean, that playing coverage and then to give up a play like that and have four defenders down there to get him to the ground and nobody even lay a hand on him is not very good.
A lot of people thought Harvin had the greatest potential of any player coming out in last year's draft. A 51-yard touchdown reception. The lead swells to 21.
There have been many versions of the social greeting. The fist bump has been thrust into and out of vogue. The low five was cool for a while. The chest bump had its day, as did the outlaw, the forearm grasp, and the point and go. In certain circles, the headbutt, and of course, the bro hug double back tap combo. But one greeting stands the test of time, with a beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. Budweiser.
Rated M for mature.
We are blessed warriors. We are tormented by pain. We are filled with wicked powers. I am a Grey Warden. Together we will make our stand. Together we will save this world.
Dragon Age Origins. Not every hero is pure.
Fact, it's got more beef than a fried McDonald's double cheeseburger. We think it's got more taste too, but that's more like an opinion. The quarter-pound double cheeseburger, bigger than McDonald's and now just $1, only at Burger King.
Now you can fill the air with unlimited talk and text with AT&T Go Phone. Just $60 a month on the nationwide network you can trust.
Minnesota leading 24-3 after the 51-yard touchdown catch by the rookie Percy Harvin. This Green Bay defense, which came in ranked 3rd overall in the NFL, and some might say, you know, perhaps a bit misleading. Troy, much like the New York Giants game we did 3 weeks ago, when they had played 3 teams before going down to New Orleans that had 1 win, those 3 teams combined. Here the last couple of weeks, Green Bay has gotten right against Detroit and Cleveland, but they're playing a very different animal in the Minnesota Vikings here today.
Yeah, it seems that we're saying that about a lot of teams that have pretty good records, and then you begin to question maybe who they had played. And we knew that the Lions and the Browns aren't very good, but those were nice wins. They can't help who's on their schedule. They dominated those games. Defense didn't give up a touchdown in either one of those games, but the Vikings aren't the Browns or the Lions, and they're showing that here tonight.
Ahman Green waiting on the kick from Longwell, who appeared to lose his footing as he struck the ball. But Green from the 2. And Ahman still on his feet all the way out to the 30-yard line. Defense looking for answers for Green Bay. What about the offense? 47 yards of offense in the opening half.
Yeah, but I would look at the Packers defensively right now. I mean, for the Vikings to get the ball to start this second half, or for them to go right down the field and score, I mean, they have not been able to get any pressure on Brett Favre. We've documented that throughout this ball game, but yet they're not doing anything differently. They've got 2 of the best corners in all of football. You know, you can man up with those guys. They afford you the luxury of being able to bring extra defenders, and yet for whatever reason, Dom Capers refuses to do that.
Rodgers will put it up, and a wide open receiver is Greg Jennings all the way down to the Minnesota 40-yard line. So that's a good start for Rodgers.
Well, they find the hole in the zone. It's a cover 2 defense in the secondary for Minnesota, and there on the sideline about 18 yards is where the void is then in front of that safety. And looky there, Aaron Rodgers has time to make that throw, and as a result, it's a pretty easy completion.
47 yards of offense in the first half, 30 plays on that completion to begin the second half. Ran a very quiet first half, and of course that is the case more times than not for most rushers against the Minnesota Vikings defense.
Well, and let's be honest, I mean, this is a difficult situation for this Packers offensive line. It's been in a state of flux all year long. The right side with their right guard Josh Sitton and then the right tackle Alan Barber are the only 2 guys who have started the same position, you know, throughout the season in all 6 games, 7 games now, and that left side has had a lot of changes.
Chad Clifton, their 10-year veteran left tackle, a couple of times has injured his ankle this year. He did not play last week. TJ Lang got the start, played very well. And then Scott Wells, who lost his job at center to Jason Spitz during the preseason, has had to fill in for Spitz, who's battled a bad back. Third and 5. Rodgers looking, has room to get a first down, and does. Tiptoes out of bounds at the 29-yard line.
You know, on the other side, you've got the Minnesota Vikings. They bring a 4-man rush, and Brian Robinson, he's going to be able to get some pressure. They run a twist on that left side, and he's the one who flushes Aaron Rodgers out. Now, as I said earlier, Aaron Rodgers can run, and so because of his legs, he's able to pick up the first down. But that's been the biggest difference, is the Vikings have been able to get pressure with their front 4, and yet they've still brought extra people. But with a 4-man rush, you're able to play coverage, and Aaron Rodgers, for the most part, even when he has had time, which has not been a lot, he hasn't had anywhere to go with the ball.
Got hit as soon as he threw, and a flag comes down. The rookie Asher Allen on the coverage there of Donald Driver.
Yeah, Donald's trying to come out on the out route, and that's a pretty easy call.
Pass
Allen.
interference, defense, number 21. Automatic first down.
You know, Allen, the rookie out of Georgia, got his first action last week and just playing in his second NFL game. But those are the matchups that Green Bay looks at and says, hey, you know, we like that. And they're playing without Antoine Winfield. The Minnesota Vikings are. And so what was already favorable in their opinion is even more so. You got a shot there to the face of Aaron Rodgers. Could have certainly gotten a flag on that.
Lays it off for Kuhn out of the backfield. And Greenway runs him out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Ray Edwards got tangled up with Alan Barber. And now a few barbs back and forth between the two teams.
So you've got Aaron Rodgers, who now has some time in the pocket. Donald Driver in the slot. He's going up the seam, and just good coverage. You got the safety collapsing on it. E.J. Henderson running underneath. Nowhere to go then for Aaron Rodgers, and you've got to come underneath. I mean, I know people at home are wondering, all right, well, he got some time to throw the ball there. How come we're still coming underneath? The Vikings are doing a good job in coverage.
Play clock nearly expiring, and Rodgers having to spend the first time out for the Packers. Knocking on the door, trying to get back in his game, and we have a long way to go at Lambeau Field.
You Jake Sully? We'd like to talk to you about a fresh start on a new world.
You are not in Kansas anymore. You are on Pandora.
You should see your faces.
We have an indigenous population called the Na'vi. They are very hard to kill.
Now those savages are threatening our whole operation, and you're supposed to be finding a solution.
The concept is to drive these remotely controlled bodies called avatars. They're grown from human DNA, mixed with DNA of the natives.
Just relax and let your mind go blank. It shouldn't be hard for you.
Jake, it's real simple. I want you to learn from the inside. I want you to gain their trust.
You should not be here.
Outstanding.
You forget what team you're playing for?
You knew this would happen?
Everything changed.
We're going up against gunships.
Well, I guess we better stop him.
This film is not yet rated. Today's game is sponsored by Avatar. In theaters and IMAX 3D December 18th. Avatar.
Yes, we do have a Favre cam at foxsports.com and NFL.com. A camera that follows Brett his every move today here in his return to Lambeau Field. Log on if you'd like to check it out.
I tell you, Tom, down here in this area is where they really miss their tight end, Jermichael Finley.
Four-man rush. And across the middle down to the 7-yard line is the starting tight end, Donald Lee. You talk about Finley in the first meeting against Minnesota. 6 catches, 128 receiving yards.
Yeah, 6 receptions all of last season as a rookie, and then he really exploded in the game against Minnesota the first go-around, and he's been kind of a big play guy, but more importantly, he's been a big target down here in the red zone.
Empty backfield, quarterback draw, and Rodgers took a shot in the back as he was spun down at the 4-yard line by Pat Williams.
Well, that was a called draw the entire way, and Pat Williams just does a great job of reading this. And I mean, look at the big guy move. I mean, Aaron was still trying to pump fake him, making him think that he was going to throw it so that he could still get a little separation. And I mean, that's pretty impressive. You know, that guy, he's listed at 317 pounds. I guarantee he's not a pound under 350. And he ran down Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers looking around and batted down by Kevin Williams. 3rd and goal.
To say that this is an important 3rd down is a gross understatement. I mean, right now, the Packers are in desperate need of a touchdown.
Ninth play of the drive, arguably the biggest play of the drive. And Rodgers sacked back at the 8. Jared Allen again. That is 5 sacks.
And Rodgers. I think this is on Aaron Rodgers again. You got the trip set over here, and he's working that way, but he's got a pocket to step up. He's got room to move and make something happen, and you can't stand back there and let these type of pass rushers come off the edge. And I don't want to harp on it, but yet I think Aaron Rodgers is a terrific young player, but at some point he's got to realize that you can't take the sacks that he has taken.
26-yard field goal try is good by Mason Crosby. Field goal's not going to do it. 24-6 Minnesota.
The iPhone has all kinds of apps. There are apps for budgeting your money. There are apps for investing your money. Apps to learn a new chord. And apps to learn a new language.
你可以推荐一个饭馆吗?
There are apps for nature lovers, pizza lovers, and thousands of others. Yup, there are 85,000 apps for just about anything. Only on the iPhone.
Last Tuesday, America's Best Dancers hit the floor.
This is what this show's all about. Fantastic.
And this Tuesday, the top 9 couples have to raise their game when the competition heats up. Phenomenal! Because the judges must send 2 more home.
One guy and one girl.
2 new hours of dance this Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Almost a repeat-like performance from the first meeting between these two teams in Week 4. Aaron Rodgers under tremendous pressure. Squib kick. And out on a cross and a ball. Football is loose. And it looks like the Packers have recovered down at the bottom of that pile. They have. Brian Robinson, a defensive lineman, fielded the kick, and rather than perhaps just taking a knee and let somebody tap you to be down, he tried to turn it into something, and that's a big turnover.
Those guys don't get many opportunities to run with the football, and there's good reason why you do want them going to the ground, because they're then easy targets to strip. And I'm not sure if they were trying to kick the ball like that, or that's just how it came off his foot. I can understand not wanting to kick it to Percy Harvin, but the Vikings were going to get the ball with great field position.
A.J. Hawk stripped it away before Nick Collins covered it up. So now Rodgers again in trouble. Rolls, throws, caught, first down by Jennings to the 29-yard line. No, that's Grant out of the backfield, I beg your pardon.
Well, this time it was Ray Edwards coming off the edge, and he's done a good job against Barber there on that offensive right side, and Aaron Rodgers almost gets a needless sack once again, but he is able to escape, and then he gets the ball to Ryan Grant. You know, they got some momentum back on their side after the turnover. Obviously pretty important for them to do something with it here now.
Still a lot of football to go. 8-minute mark in the third quarter. That catch is made by Donald Driver. He has a first down to the 18. Not much to talk about offensively for Green Bay most of the day. Although these last two drives now starting to come together a little bit better.
I think the fact Ryan Grant only has 20 yards rushing is probably the most surprising part, considering how much success he has had against this Vikings team.
Greenway had him, lost him, and Henderson corrals him from behind. That'll be a gain of 2 for Ryan Grant.
You know, this is an awfully aggressive defensive group. We talked about the linebackers in the first half, you know, how good they are and their ability to pursue, but they also get that kind of pursuit from their defensive front. And the Packers really haven't done anything yet to try to neutralize the rush or some of the over aggressiveness by this defense with some play action, misdirection, some screens. I thought we'd have seen a lot more of the screen game than what we've seen so far.
Ahman Green in motion. Rodgers lofts, nearly corralled by Donald Lee in the end zone. Third down upcoming.
Just seemed to be a little bit of a miscommunication here with Aaron Rodgers. Looked like he expected Donald Lee to go a little deeper towards the corner of the end zone. Donald Lee initially coming off of that route flattened it out and just was not able to get his arm out there and bring that one in. You know, as I said, I think right now with what they're doing on the outside and the coverage that you miss a Jermichael Finley, someone who is a real tough matchup with virtually anyone they've got defensively.
Rodgers to the end zone. Touchdown, Spencer Havner. And yes, even part-time linebacker turned part-time tight end. Know about the Lambeau leap.
Well, Spencer Havner, yeah, a linebacker, and got his opportunity to get moved over to the tight end position because of how well he practiced when he was running the practice squad team for 2 years. Had a big touchdown reception a week ago against Cleveland, and boy, did this one come at a good time.
Point after is good to make it a 24-13 game. And as Troy Aikman has been reminding us for 2 days, Havner is a UCLA Bruin. He should be this versatile, right?
Hi there, I'm Jack. And a while back, I got an idea right in there. You know what it was? Make my PC simpler. So what did I do? I passed it along to Microsoft. Next thing you know, Windows 7 and this new Snap feature. Now, if I'm working at 2 things at once, I just drag this over here, Snap. Simpler. Pretty much exactly what I told him. I mean, I'm not trying to take all the credit.
He called his mother.
Of course I called her. She needed to know this. I'm a PC, and Windows 7 was my idea.
Coach Ditka, it's hot up here, and we're out of cold Coors Light. What do?
Go get it!
Great idea, but we've only got $10.
What do you want, 11? What do you want, 11?
We need more than that. Ditka's wallet!
And we got it. We just found your wallet.
We'll just use a credit card for the cold Coors Light.
Hey! 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 Hey!
Cross-brewed Coors Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Coach, I just bought a Coors Light t-shirt. What do you think?
Hey, no stretch there, baby. No stretch there.
It's a little snug.
Cobalt tools are so tough you'll never have to stop working.
Hey, dude.
on, Jimmy?
Wiring, Chad.
Cobalt, the next generation of tough tools. Available exclusively at Lowe's.
I'm here with Troy Polamalu. Tell us about the goal line stand.
Well, I owe my great hair to Head & Shoulders. It's for more than just dandruff.
That's not what I asked, Troy.
Isn't it?
No.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Head & Shoulders, 7 benefits, 1 bottle.
The Packers take advantage of the fumble kickoff by Brian Robinson. And Spencer Havner has scored a touchdown in back-to-back games. Another line drive kick. Harvin comes up to get it at the 20. And he is dragged down at the 33-yard line by Brady Papinga.
Well, that last drive started with the fumble here by Robinson, being able to recover that fumble, and then the touchdown to Havner. He's going to be in the slot. He runs a good route. He gets down the field, and you're going to see him pivot back out. You know, you've got Aaron Rodgers who starts working out of the pocket, and that's a designed move right there. And with great coverage, I mean, he's able to haul that in. Here's a guy who's a 4-year starter at linebacker, as you said, for UCLA, and steps in here, and he has really provided a spark, not just here in this game, but the last couple of games for this team.
Nearly intercepted on the short throw to Adrian Peterson out of the backfield.
Ball gets deflected, and you're fortunate right there. A ball that comes in high, that one was not intercepted. It looked like if Nick Barnett had maybe seen it a little bit sooner, he might have been able to make a play on it. Adrian Peterson, a guy who has not caught a lot of balls, you know, over the last couple of years. This year has been a more prominent figure, but most of those have been the check down variety like we just saw.
Blitz coming. Favre steps up, and it's batted in the air and incomplete. Well, there were 5 Packers that looked like had a bead on that ball once it was tipped.
Well, the great thing is you got Nick Barnett coming in. They are now starting to bring a little bit of pressure, and Barnett comes up the middle, circles back around, and got just enough of the ball as Favre was going to make the throw. And that's a couple opportunities now that Green Bay's had to get consecutive turnovers. A great look at it right there. Ball up like that, it is rare that a ball like that's not intercepted.
Incomplete on a throw to Shiancoe. So now the momentum clearly beginning to swing in favor of the home team.
Desmond Bishop, who's getting his time on the field because of the injury to Brandon Chiller in coverage, does a nice job. On that third down, the Packers did not bring anybody. They stuck with their 4-man pressure package. It was just good coverage.
Bluey puts a foot on it, pounds it all the way back to the 9-yard line. Tramon Williams is drilled at the 15. Boy, did he get hit. Jamarcus Sanford leading the charge.
Hi. What can I get for $1?
That's yours.
How far can I get with this?
You can get out.
Hi. What can I get for this? How about 2 sizzling 100% pure beef patties with all the amenities in a meaty, melty McDouble? Or maybe an irresistible McChicken, golden fries, or any of the fabulous dollar menu tastes that are always here for you. Huh?
Wow. The dollar menu. Every day. Only at McDonald's.
Nothing gets NFL fans pumped up like winning a trip to the biggest games of all. Between now and November 30th, using your Visa card gives you a chance to win tickets to an NFL playoff game, the Pro Bowl, and Super Bowl 44. More people go with Visa.
Dear PlayStation, I got my boyfriend a PS3 and he still hasn't hooked it up to the internet.
What? What is this, 1992?
I know.
I mean, if you're not on the PlayStation Network, you can't get PlayStation Home, PS1 Classics, you can't download movies, TV shows.
I know.
It's like having a bathroom without an aromatherapy candle. Still gets the job done, but come on.
He hates candles, too.
Come on.
I know, right?
What's wrong with him?
PS3, now $2.99.
Take a look ahead at next week, the NFL on Fox, Week 9. Troy, you'll be in Chicago for the Cardinals and the Bears. The Packers will be here or on the road in Tampa Bay. Then Game 2, some will see the Lions and Seahawks, others the Panthers and the undefeated New Orleans Saints. The 4 Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday show gets it all started 11 a.m. Eastern Time next week, 8 a.m. Pacific. That's a special starting time. Amon Green out of the backfield has a first down. And all of a sudden this Green Bay crowd and team has come to life.
And talking with Mike McCarthy, what did he tell us, Tom? The first time that Amon Green gets the ball, he's going to want to run somebody over. He's had the ball before now, but you saw that he was definitely looking up contact. You know, everybody was wondering how he would be able to come in here today without having had any contact since last November. But he's given this team a little something.
Shaking up on a play, Ray Edwards.
I can guarantee you that Alan Barber, the right tackle, is thrilled to see him walking off the field because he has given him fits.
Great protection this time, and across the middle the catch is made to the 45, inside the 40, still on his feet is James Jones, just his 7th catch of the year, and that's a big one.
Well, they bring in Brian Robinson, Minnesota does, and he's going to then be working against Alan Barber, the right tackle, and he does a good job of giving protection then to Aaron Rodgers, and a little unorthodox throw there by Rodgers, but effective nonetheless. And you've got James Jones then on the crossing pattern, and one of the few big plays they've had here today.
Again, the tight end Donald Lee down to the 25-yard line. 4:45 to play in the third, and Green Bay sniffing points. In the first half, the Packers had 47 yards of offense. So far in the second half, 158. Blitz coming. Jennings to the 15, down to the 10.
You're going to see that they motion Ryan Grant out of the backfield. They go empty set. What it does is it forces Minnesota then to go to a single high safety. He's going to drop in, and it opens up the throw in behind that then. A good execution there.
They spotted at the 11. Jennings trying to beat Payman. That's a 5-yard catch. Hard takedown there by Benny Sapp. Amon Green is checked into the backfield for Green Bay. And they give it to him. Third down. They can get a first down at the 1. Injured Packer is the right tackle, Alan Barber. And some jawing going on. Donald Driver and Benny Sapp.
Yeah, there's Donald Driver, and he's just trying to make a block, and not a lot to it, but Benny Sapp didn't like it, and both of those guys have a great deal of pride, particularly Donald Driver, and that's what ensues.
3rd down and 4. Havner again, touchdown, and the game is on in Green Bay. A moment ago, I think everybody in the stadium, perhaps those of us up here in the booth, were wondering if we were looking at a blowout. And all of a sudden, the lead is down to 4.
We're going to see Havner here on the slant. He was actually open right from the beginning, but Aaron Rodgers just did not work to him, but he did hang with him once he got flushed out of the pocket. And a nice job by Havner of just sitting it down in the hole. You see him right there. He sees that he cannot continue across the field because Chad Greenway is sitting in the way. And he comes right back out on it, and just a pretty good job for a guy who, as we said, was a linebacker and just started playing some tight end, but he has a great feel for how to get open.
Well, he spent parts of 3 years on the Packers practice squad. And you mentioned, I mean, they give him a look on scout team, and all of a sudden, nobody could cover him, nobody could defend him, and they came up with the idea that, you know, why not have a guy that can play defense, play offense, play special teams? That's a versatile and valuable guy, and paying huge dividends now these last 2 weeks. Percy Harvin trying to change the momentum, trying to turn the corner across midfield. And some of that momentum comes back to the Vikings side. This guy's going to be some kind of player.
Well, you've got to maintain leverage on a guy like Percy Harvin, and Tramon Williams just got lazy. He was out there in a position to be able to turn him back inside. Instead, he kind of hung there thinking that somebody was going to be able to make the tackle on Harvin. You see him come into your picture, and he loses leverage.
Ball at the Green Bay 38-yard line. 1:48 to play in the 3rd quarter. And nowhere to go for Adrian Peterson on 1st down. Wrapped up by Clay Matthews.
Well, Adrian Peterson having a little better day today than what he had a month ago against the Packers. But I think still, all in all, if you were to ask Dom Capers, you know, hey, Adrian Peterson here in the 3rd quarter would have 62 yards rushing, I think you'd probably feel pretty good about that.
Blitz coming. They pick it up. Favre. Miscommunication there with Berrien. And really, you go all the way back to training camp, where Berrien did not play a single game and never got on the same page with Favre.
I'll tell you what, right now, Green Bay's mixing it up on the outside. This is where Al Harris wants to be. He wants to be up in press coverage. Let me play the receiver one-on-one, not worry about what anyone else is doing on the field. And then the Packers also brought the pressure up the middle. And so we've seen some different looks now by Green Bay defensively. And you see here Al Harris is again.
Favre fires again to Harvin, who makes a catch down to the 22. Woodson delivered a hit, but the rookie out of Florida hung on and gets a pump of the fist from Favre.
Well, Percy Harvin is running routes for the Minnesota Vikings that he just did not run at the University of Florida. I mean, a young guy. Favre took a shot at the very end of that play. You know, oftentimes not much, but go to the headgear and you get a flag. But Percy Harvin, for a young player, doing things that really he hadn't done much of, is become a pretty good receiver.
Peterson tries to cut it back the other way. Slowing him down was Matthews. And a flag is down.
We saw Clay Matthew. He went for the strip on Adrian Peterson. You remember back to that game last time. And
personal foul, grabbing the face mask, defense number 90. This penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
It's B.J. Raji.
You're going to see him go to the helmet here, and B.J. Raji right there, and there's no other alternative other than the 15-yard variety. And here's the end of that play. That Clay Matthews looks very similar to what he was able to do, you know, in that Monday night game. Tried stripping Adrian Peterson and going the distance with it. Adrian Peterson is a guy who has been known to fumble.
That will be the end of the third quarter. The Packers have gotten back into this thing, trailing 24-20. The NFL on Fox continues after a word from your local Fox station.
The New York Post can't wait for Wanda to take late night into a whole new and very dangerous direction.
I have no idea what that means, but I like it.
The Wanda Sykes Show premieres Saturday on Fox Late Night.
With 12 world's first innovations, the Lexus LS doesn't simply lead an industry, it inspires one. See your Lexus dealer.
Good morning, Miss Mary. $20 on pump 3.
Sure, baby. You want me to run you a Powerball ticket, too?
I'll wait for a bigger jackpot.
Oh, honey, I am so sorry. Let Miss Mary give you a hug.
Why?
I assumed your rich uncle had passed away if you could not use a $20 million jackpot.
I'll take a quick pick.
Thank you, Larry.
Kentucky's Powerball jackpot starts at $20 million. Add Power Play for just $1.
Kentucky's Powerball. It's never small.
Most people agree that we need to reform health care. But is it right to ask 10 million seniors on Medicare Advantage for more than their fair share? Congress is proposing over $100 billion in cuts to Medicare Advantage. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says many seniors will see cuts in benefits, and Indiana is hit hard. Call your senators. Tell them we need health care reform that protects seniors.
We're helping you beat the traffic.
Coming soon, only on Fox in the Morning.
Final stanza set to begin at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Favre and the Vikings. First and goal after the penalty at the Packer 9. Leading 24-20. Peterson. Hammered at the line of scrimmage. Ryan Pickett, Aaron Campman, both there to meet him. Pickett's played a nice game here today.
Well, that was a nice job there on that play of just pushing the offensive line right back into the face of Adrian Peterson.
Adrian to the sideline. Taylor into the backfield. Second and goal. Chester Taylor inside the 5 and down to the 2-yard line. Got a good lead block from a 6-time Pro Bowl left guard, Steve Hutchinson.
Boy, sure did, and a nice job there of execution by Minnesota. And you know, he gets a little bit of a crease, which is something that we haven't seen a lot of for Adrian Peterson. And you know, Chester Taylor, just such a versatile guy. that you can use out of the backfield as a receiver, an excellent runner, and then he's also very good in pass protection.
Green Bay spends a timeout. 3rd and goal upcoming when we return.
Years of engineering excellence is right on time. It's GMC Truck Month. Shop Sierra 1500 SLT with the 403 horsepower 6.2-liter V8. It's the most powerful half-ton V8 in its class. Step up to the best. It's GMC Truck Month. Get 0% APR for 60 months on 2009 GMC Sierra. Or get $6,000 total cash back on select 09 Sierra 1500 extended and crew cabs in stock. See your GMC dealer today.
Who says lightning never strikes twice? Introducing the supercharged new BlackBerry Storm 2. Wi-Fi enabled, ultra responsive, tons of apps. And because it runs on the network with 5 times more 3G coverage than AT&T, it just may be the perfect storm.
Hey, Jimmy Football here. What's missing from your tailgate party? Tail! Well, not anymore. With the Bud Light Tailgate Companion, now the goods come to you. We didn't make your dog, we just made your dog better.
Now when I want ketchup on my dog, I just call my dog. Thanks, dog.
Thanks, Bud Light.
It's the Bud Light Tailgate Companion, and it's tailgate approved.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa. Visa debit is easier than cash. More people go with Visa. Buy the newest $5 footlong. Try the spicy buffalo chicken footlong. Subway, eat fresh. And by Bud Light. With the just right taste that's not too heavy, not too light, the difference is drinkability.
Pretty good job there by Green Bay right here. 12 guys on the field and being able to recognize that and getting the timeout called.
Favre on 3rd and goal. Throws a touchdown to the tight end, Jeff Dugan. 3rd touchdown pass today for Brett Favre.
Yeah, you pack everybody up, make it look like run. Dugan starts from the backfield. You can see him here into the flat. And then it's just a matter of getting everybody outflanked and getting the ball in his hands. And a good throw there by Brett Favre. That was pretty easy.
Only the 3rd reception of the season for Dugan. That's his first touchdown. And the point after is good. Favre is hit on 15 of 24. 3 touchdowns. More importantly, his team leads 31-20.
We don't do this, or this for just any old sport. No, we only do this for football. And Visa Debit helps fans everywhere make the most of it. More people go with Visa.
Taco Bell's fully loaded nachos, piled high with toppings like seasoned beef and nacho cheese sauce, so there's never a naked chip. And for $1 more, grab an extra large drink and make it a fully loaded deal. Think outside the bun. Holy.
We have to save what we can, and we have to move now!
The government is building these ships. People have the right to fight for their lives. Hang on!
PG-13. This is weak, man. Frank's trying to not pay me my winnings for the Skins beatdown I just issued him because his 401k's tanking. It's like, dude, you got to grab the reins, man. Get E-Trade, do some analytics, do some research, and take charge so I don't have to subsidize your lack of golfing skills.
But on the night total, you moved your ball.
Frank, it was on the cart path. Why don't you try reading the rules, Shankopotamus?
Take control with one of the most powerful investing machines there is. Join the 1,000 new accounts a day at E-Trade.
Fox Thursday, Bones returns with the strangest case yet.
Half man, half chicken.
And it's gonna get messy. Oh! A new Bones. Then
there was a shadow man.
This thing passes through victims
and disintegrates them in the process.
A new Fringe. It all starts Thursday at 8/7 Central on Fox.
Lambeau Field opened in 1957, and no one has played quarterback like Brett Favre for the Green Bay Packers or at Lambeau Field. 3 more touchdown throws today for Favre, but of course the first 3 as a visitor. Again, let's go downstairs to Pam Oliver. Pam.
Well, Tom, even when things got a little hairy for the Vikings, that group remained upbeat and positive. One thing I saw numerous times is an empty bench. That means all of the players who weren't on the field at the time stepped out to the sideline to see what was happening. And of course, there were a lot of congratulations going on once Brett Favre and the offense scored.
Pam, thank you very much for that. This is a team that has become quite close in a short amount of time since Favre signed in the 3rd week of August. Ryan Grant a first down carry. Now, you know, you look at the addition of Favre, and really when all was said and done, you know, Troy, are you better with him than you were without him? And they're averaging 6 more points per game through 7 games, and that number is going up with a 31 on the board today.
Well, there's no doubt that they're better with Brett Favre. I mean, you take the first game against the Green Bay Packers as an example. When you hold Adrian Peterson to 2.2 yards per carry, that's a game the Vikings a year ago can't win. But yet they won it because of the arm of Brett Favre.
Good protection for Rodgers. Reception by Greg Jennings.
You know, I got to tell you, Tom, that was a heck of a drive by Minnesota answering. I mean, all the momentum had shifted. It was clearly behind the Green Bay Packers, obviously all set up by the return of Percy Harvin. I mean, there's a lot of yardage there with Percy Harvin in this return game that has made a real difference in the ball game. But still yet, for them offensively to put together a drive and answer and take this game back to an 11-point ball game.
Driver, we're going to say he was down right at midfield. Looked like Tyrell Johnson put a hand on him when his knee was down. You talk about Harvin. I mean, look at those returns. That's 4 returns, 3 of them for 45+ yards, and all 3 of those leading to touchdowns.
Well, and Brad Childers, he was asked, hey, you know, you bring in a guy like Percy Harvin when they drafted him. He said, I want dynamic playmakers on our team. And I don't know that anybody thought that he would make as big a difference this early. In a return game, yes. But he's been big in the receiving game also.
Rodgers tiptoes out of trouble, and he's going to run it. Still on his feet inside the 20, the 15, and steps out of bounds at the 12-yard line.
Well, we've talked about it coming in. TJ Lang making his 2nd NFL start. They help him out a little bit with Donald Lee before he goes out on his route, but good job by the rookie. And Aaron Rodgers just finds the crease, and he is coached to do that. Step up in the pocket, get flushed out, look for a receiver, and that gives you a pretty good idea why he's the 2nd leading rusher on this Green Bay team.
A season-long 35-yard run by Rodgers. They said he stepped out of bounds right at the 15. Out of the shotgun. Batted down at the line of scrimmage by Kevin Williams. Well, there's still a long way to go. Just under 11 minutes to play.
Well, this is a good job here by Green Bay. I mean, with this much time in the game, I mean, it's a seesaw battle, and you got to be able to match points when Minnesota goes down and makes it a 2-point or a 2-possession game. But right now, this is pretty good for the Packers.
Blitz coming. He gets rid of it in a hurry. Good move by Jennings. Slips the tackle of Pema. And it's down to the 10. It's 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that was an excellent job there by Jennings of getting more out of that than what it initially looked like. And that's what we've seen a lot from Brett Favre, throwing it out quick to the receivers. But Greg Jennings starts payment inside and then is able to get back out and break a tackle. Probably picked up 4 or 5 more yards than what was really there.
That's a flag all the way. And a touchdown reception by Jennings. The flag came down long before the ball was ever in the end zone. We have to wait the official verdict. He got tangled up with Payma, did Jennings, in the corner of the end zone.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't get this throw off if we don't get the block right there by Brandon Jackson.
Fouls on the play, both of them against Minnesota. Holding, defense. This penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense. Number 41. This penalty is declined also.
Yeah, that's
play results in a touchdown.
That's one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. You know, I mean, pretty remarkable.
Yep.
I mean, he was getting banged around pretty good, and I don't know that he ever even saw the ball really coming out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, but yet as he's stumbling along, he's able to then locate the football and bring it in.
I think oftentimes they're going to go for 2 here. Trying to get it down to a 3-point game. Green Bay 1 of 2 on 2-point conversions this season. Right through the fingertips of Ryan Grant. A 5-point game at Lambeau.
3, 2, 1.
From the CTS, the most acclaimed vehicle in its class for the last 2 years. Now comes the CTS Sport Wagon. Its technology and performance rivals the Europeans. Its bold design steers clear of the luxury default button. And it could only have come from one place.
America, we have reignition.
Friday, Ebenezer Scrooge has a special gift just for you.
Nothing.
Jim Carrey is Scrooge.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits. I'd rather not.
This Friday, the classic tale becomes a 3D adventure like nothing you've ever seen. From the director of Forrest Gump and the Polar Express. Disney's A Christmas Carol, rated PG, in Disney Digital 3D and IMAX 3D.
You are different from you, and you are trying to forget about work, while you are working late again, and you miss your kids, and you miss the waves, and you want to share, and you want to think, and you are trying to remember, and you are trying to forget, and you've come to realize that you don't need to get a phone. You need a phone that gets you, and you, and you, and we are HTC.
Sure, they've got a game, but we've got a monopoly on flame-broiled taste. The quarter-pound BK double cheeseburger. More beef than McDonald's for just $1. So you don't need to own any hotels to afford one. Only at Burger King.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Cadillac.
Didn't take long, 3 minutes and 9 seconds. 7 plays, 74 yards for the touchdown. And now Percy Harvin, who has been a huge factor, especially in the return game for Minnesota, takes this one from his own 11. Not so fortunate this time.
Here's the 2-point conversion play by Kevin Williams. Didn't see this live, but it actually goes, he almost caught it with his bicep, but it goes right between his arm there, and that's what deflected it just enough to keep Ryan Grant from being able to haul that in. Initially, it just looked, because it was there. I mean, if they were able to make that catch and execute that play, that was a pretty easy 2-point conversion, but a good play by the Pro Bowler.
10:23 to play at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. A 5-point Minnesota lead. Peterson just runs right through Atari Bigby, and Bigby not afraid to deliver a hit himself.
Well, I think it was more self-defense on his part. I mean, look, he doesn't even put his arms out there. He just knew what was coming, and it was going to be painful, and he just closed his eyes and took it. But he didn't even come up and try to wrap him with his arms and make a tackle.
Gain of 7 for Peterson. 2nd down and 3. Peterson across midfield and tackled from behind at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, Aaron Campman, he actually plays this pretty good, but he was just too slow in reacting. You're going to see him squeeze this. He's going to come underneath and try to make a play there, but he just couldn't get there in time, and then that's the lane. And once you see Adrian Peterson get to that 2nd level, I mean, it's rare that you're not going to then see him get on to the 3rd level.
Peterson 21 carries now for 94 yards. 1st down for Minnesota. Chester Taylor trying to get lost behind a couple of those big offensive linemen. Carries down to the 42. Don't turn your dial, because at the conclusion of this one, we go to Philadelphia for a Game 4 of the World Series. The Yankees leading that series 2-1. Joe Blanton on the hill trying to even a series for Charlie Manuel's team. CC Sabathia starts for New York. Great protection, then it collapses at the end. Favre could not find an open receiver and took a hit from Matthews.
It's one of the few times that we've really seen both Al Harris and Charles Woodson locked up in man coverage. Now, they're not coming up and jamming them. They're giving them free releases off the line of scrimmage. But because they were up pressed, they didn't give anything right away then to Brett Favre, and then that was Matthews coming around the backside and able to make the play.
3rd and 6. Thrown behind the intended receiver, Harvin. So Green Bay will get the football, trailing by 5. It was Matthews and Jenkins applying the pressure that time.
Well, and they did it with a 4-man rush. I mean, this was the difference. They got pressure on Favre. He was open. You're going to see Harvin is open there in the hole, but because of the pressure, then it's a throw that's behind him. That's one of the few times they've gotten to Favre with pressure with just a 4-man rush.
That bounces the wrong way for Minnesota. Down at the 18. Aaron Rodgers, the man who took over for Brett Favre, with a chance to give his team the lead.
A Yellow Book moment is about to happen. When you need something on a moment's notice, that's a Yellow Book moment. Go to yellowbook.com to get the information you need.
Darcy, no. Sorry.
The moment you need it, Yellow Book it at yellowbook.com.
2 feared pass rushers, Michael Strahan and Justin Tuck, and Jared.
To celebrate Subway continuing their famous $5 footlong, I thought it'd be nice if we all sang the $5 footlong song.
$5 footlong. It's growing strong, growing strong. Celebrate with our newest $5 footlong buffalo chicken. The spiciest deal around. Get yours, just $5.
Subway. Eat fresh.
Sir, debris heading towards our comm satellite. Impact may cut off communications with ground forces.
Launch avoidance maneuver. "20 kilometers in closing."
Collision averted, sir. All objects are accounted for.
Good job.
Learn more at airforce.com.
The twisted minds behind Family Guy present an all-new special. Say what? Seth and Alex's Almost Live comedy show. 1 week from tonight on Fox.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Turning into the kind of game we thought it would be before kickoff. One-sided in the opening half in favor of Minnesota. Green Bay's had the ball 4 possessions in this half and scored on every possession. Breaking a tackle is Kuhn, and he's out to the 34. Boy, he's a load to bring down, is Mr. John Kuhn.
A pretty impressive second half here by this offensive line and the protection that they are now affording Aaron Rodgers. You know, good coverage again, much like what we saw there in that first half by this secondary for the Minnesota Vikings. But because he had time, he was then able to come underneath the Kuhn and make it a positive play.
Bad snap. Rodgers able to get his hands on it and then throws complete over the middle to midfield to Donald Driver. Penalty flag down behind the line of scrimmage. Driver's shaken up after making the catch.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 91. Unnecessarily threw the quarterback into the ground. The 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
And it starts with a bad snap by Scott Wells, and you know, just an excellent job there by Aaron Rodgers of keeping the play alive and being able to find Driver. And there's the hit by Ray Edwards. You know, I don't know. I mean, the official made that sound like it was pretty serious. I mean, he just came in and made a tackle. I don't know what a penalty is anymore on a quarterback, but good execution there by Green Bay and Donald Driver being able to make that catch.
Well, they're still taking a look at Driver. He has been such a huge weapon, a 3-time Pro Bowler. Surpassed Shannon Sharp this season to become the franchise's all-time leader in career receptions. And this crowd is trying to will Donald Driver to get to his feet.
Well, I can tell you this, if there's any way that Donald Driver can get back out on that field and play, he'll play. He's one of the most competitive guys in all of football. One of the toughest guys as well.
They attack on the 15 yards, and it's first down Green Bay at the Minnesota 35-yard line. 7:24 to go, and Green Bay trailing by 5.
And they bring in Jake Allen, who was just signed off the practice squad this week.
Allen, number 13. Blitz coming. Rodgers gets it away. And Jennings slips a tackle and turns it into a 9-yard pickup.
You know, Jared Allen this time tries the bull rush on T.J. Lang, and he holds up pretty good. You know, that's not easy to do, and yet he was able to hold up, and then Jared Allen is setting him up because he'll do the bull rush, and then what you're going to see is Jared Allen come with some kind of outside speed rush here real soon.
Donald Driver checks back in for the Packers. And Rodgers is out of sack. They're saying, Jared Allen is saying sack, and the officials agree.
Yeah, he went down on a knee, and T.J. Lang did such a good job that this time they decided they wouldn't put anybody on Jared Allen. You know, he just got a free run. Obviously, that's not what was drawn up. I mean, I knew a speed rush was coming, but I thought at least somebody would try to slow him down.
Third down and 8. Blitz coming again. They pick it up. Rodgers to Driver, and nearly intercepted by Benny Sapp. So the 3rd and 8, an incomplete pass by Rodgers, who limps off the field. He's brought his team back from a 24-3 deficit to make it a 5-point game. And again, Rodgers will be looked at over on the Green Bay sideline. This will be a long field goal try for Mason Crosby. 51 yards. He's hit on 1 of 3 from 50 and beyond this year. No good. We thought early on this would turn into a blowout. All the anticipation of Brett Favre's return to Green Bay for the first time as a visiting player. The sacks were piling up again as they did in the first meeting between these two teams. And Favre was rolling. But in the second half, Green Bay's offense has come alive. A touchdown pass to Havner. Dugan a touchdown catch to swing the momentum the other way. But then Green Bay scored to make it a 31-26 game. Favre gets the ball back with 5:38 to go. And he's throwing on first down. A screen to Adrian Peterson, who rushes down the sideline, cuts it back to the inside, and tackled at the 14-yard line.
You know, once Adrian Peterson gets to the outside and the offensive line doing such a good job, Steve Hutchinson, the left guard, he's the one who really sealed it all off and kept anybody from being able to get in pursuit of Adrian Peterson until he was well down the field.
A 44-yard gain. Peterson leapfrogs one tackler and then is dropped after a very short gain. Obviously, for the Green Bay defense here, Troy, it's got to be a field goal, which would leave you within 8. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, a tie.
Yeah, because if you look at the clock and you say if this becomes a 2-possession game for Green Bay, I think they're going to just run out of time. So, you know, this is critical for Green Bay to hold them to nothing more than a field goal attempt.
Chester Taylor caught from behind by Matthews. Boy, his daddy was a great football player for so many years in Cleveland.
Clay Matthews just comes right down the line, and oftentimes that's the guy who's unaccounted for. You're just hoping that he's going to play maybe the naked from the quarterback off the back, and Clay Matthews did not, and made for an easy tackle for a loss.
Well, Troy, you and I were so excited, our entire crew, I think everybody across America that loves watching the NFL, knowing that this game was finally here, and all the buildup of Brett Favre coming back to Green Bay. He's played beautifully. It's turned into a good game. It looked like Green Bay was going to get run out of their own gym there for a while.
Yeah, it sure did. And I think you got to give Green Bay credit for the way that they came out here in this second half. I'd like to have known what Mike McCarthy might have said to that offensive line going in there at halftime, because they've blocked much better here in the second half. And as a result, you know, it's allowed Green Bay to get back into this ball game and turn it into something. And And now the game really comes down to what's about to happen here for the Minnesota Vikings offensively.
Well, the Packers have just spent their final timeout. So if they get the football back, and obviously they're hoping for just a field goal in this situation, they'll have plenty of time, but no timeouts left for Green Bay. Favre, a short drop. Catch is made and close to the end zone. Touchdown, Bernard Berrien. Fourth touchdown pass of the game for number 4.
Well, the Green Bay Packers, they brought the blitz off of that side, thinking that if they could get to Favre or at least make him get the ball out of his hands, that they could then come up and make a tackle short of the first down. Didn't happen that way.
Well, for Brett Favre, only fitting it would be a record-setting day. 21st time in his career, 4 touchdowns or more in a game.
You see him right here. They come with the pressure, and yet Favre does have to get the ball out. They just allowed Bernard Berrien to come off the line of scrimmage, really uncontested. And Favre is as good as there is in the league at sensing the blitz, getting it out. He got it out quick and gave Berrien an opportunity to then make a play after the catch.
With the 21 games of 4 or more touchdown passes, Favre has tied Dan Marino for the most such games in NFL history. In the first game against his former team, Favre became the first quarterback in NFL history to beat all 32 teams in a career. Threw for 271 yards in that game, 3 touchdowns without a pick. So in 2 games against Green Bay, 7 touchdown passes for Brett Favre. Lamont Green to the 26-yard line. Don't forget, stay tuned for the OT presented by Lowe's. And that will carry you right up to World Series action from Philadelphia, Game 4. The Yankees and the Phils.
It's really not all that surprising, is it, Tom, that he's done what he's done against the Green Bay Packers this year. I mean, he's always, throughout his career has had a real flair for the moment. And I think anybody who has followed Brett Favre, I can't imagine anybody that hasn't, fully expected him to come out here tonight and play well.
Rodgers had an open receiver, but boy, did he take a hit from Jimmy Kennedy just as he threw the football. And Rodgers telling the training staff, don't even bother.
Yeah, right at the end of this, you're going to see it as he gets it right up the middle. Jimmy Kennedy, and those are the kind. There's a lot of hits on a quarterback that don't hurt as bad as what they might look. That's not one of them. When you're stepping into a throw and you're taking a helmet right to the midsection.
Catch by Donald Driver for a very short gain. 3rd down upcoming, and again Green Bay out of timeouts.
Yeah, and Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator, still bringing pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And this game, the first time, a lot of yards picked up by Green Bay in a similar situation when they were down 2 scores. And I don't think Leslie Frazier wants to see that happen again.
First down catch made by Lee, steps out of bounds, stopping the clock with 3:10 to go. Ted Thompson, the general manager, executive vice president. And so many have linked Ted Thompson and his relationship, or lack thereof, with Brett Favre leaving Green Bay at the end of the 2007 season. But, Troy, I thought that you were the one who put it best. Well, we were talking about all this a couple of days ago and how you've always felt like, everything may not turn out perfect, but perhaps if everybody would have sat down, and we're not going to rehash history or blame someone here or blame the organization there, nobody won on that deal.
Well, I would just say this. I'm not so sure that Brett Favre ever wanted to come back and play for the Green Bay Packers. And I think that that's a side of it that a lot of people have never taken the time to really consider.
Rodgers throws, and it's incomplete. He had an eye on Jennings, who was well covered by Carl Paymer. There is a penalty flag down. Or no, an injured player down, I'm sorry, and it is Jennings. No flag on the play.
Couldn't say exactly what happened to Jennings at the end of this play. You see, just giving him a shot along the sideline, and comes down, I don't know if it's shoulder or what might have happened there, and Favre given the call.
You know, the legendary baseball broadcaster Harry Carey used to say to me regularly when we worked together for many years in Chicago, there's three sides to every story, Tom. Your side, my side, and the truth. And I'm not sure if anyone is ever going to know the entire story, as it appears Jennings is okay, of why Brett Favre was not a Green Bay Packer at the end of 2007. But hopefully a night like tonight is a night where everybody can just move on, because the full circle has now been completed. You see him in a Vikings uniform. He plays the Packers in Minnesota. He comes here and plays the Packers at Lambeau Field. Life will move on.
Well, I think that sounds real good. I'm not so sure life just moves on for the Green Bay Packer fans.
Catch made over the middle by James Jones, and that is the first down to keep this drive alive with 2:51 left. Penalty flag all the way back at the 30-yard line. So that completion may be coming back.
Holding, offense number 78. 10-yard penalty, repeat, third down.
You know, I will go back though, Tom, and you know, we talked about it coming into this ball game. I really, this was an important game for everybody. You know, everybody in for both teams. It's important for Brett Favre. Everybody wanted to know how Brett Favre felt about coming into Lambeau and playing. I still maintain that this game meant more, or was more important to Aaron Rodgers than it was to Brett Favre. Brett Favre's had a Hall of Fame career. I mean, that career has been played out. It's been great. We all know that. Aaron Rodgers just commenced on his career, and he's trying to build a legacy of his own and prove to a lot of people that he is the franchise.
Incomplete on third down.
And Favre had something to say there to Greg Jennings when he got up to walk off the field that brought a laugh. And you know, I know that Brett sure thinks a lot of Greg Jennings, and really a lot of these guys with this team. Greg Jennings played well for old number 4 when they were on the team together.
Rodgers on fourth down lets it fly incomplete, and that ought to do it. So Favre will start the celebration with his Minnesota Viking teammates.
Well, I know when we visited with him the other day, and he, you know, he didn't really want to commit too much as to what this game meant. And I think the big reason was because he was afraid of putting too much of an emphasis on this game. And then if he were to not come out and play well, or the team weren't to play well and they lose, then, you know, maybe they put too much into one ball game, and how do you rebound then from that? And as was the case the last time he played against the Packers, I think we'll get a better indication as to what this game meant with his comments following the game.
Well, Minnesota 2 minutes and 20 seconds away from a 7-1 start, their best start since the 2000 season. They've now won 16 of their last 20 games, and this will be the first sweep against their rival Packers since 2005. Next week is a bye week. This will take us to the 2-minute warning. 16 glorious years wearing the green and gold, and 2 minutes away from winning one wearing the purple and white.
Today's game is sponsored by Sprint. This is the NFL Now, only from Sprint, the Now Network, official wireless service sponsor of the NFL.
This is John Park's restricted calling circle. He's saying toodaloo and switching to Sprint with any mobile, anytime. Now on the Sprint network, he can call any mobile phone on any network anytime he wants without worrying about the meter running. So he's decided to call every mobile phone in the country. He'll finish just after his 93rd birthday. Welcome to the Now Network. Get unlimited calling to every mobile phone nationwide when you switch to any mobile, anytime. Only from Sprint, the Now Network.
That is a ton of pepperoni. That was delivered fast. It's not delivery, and we'd like it back.
Do you order one too?
Can I have my pizza, please?
You've reached Greg and Doug.
That's not yours.
If you leave your name and number...
Can I have the pizza back, please?
New DiGiorno Ultimate Toppings Pepperoni with 50% more awesome pepperoni. For more of what you love, taste, believe. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno Ultimate Toppings.
Don't come down here. We're naked.
I can see you.
The Sierra Crew doesn't just offer more horsepower, more towing, more payload, and more torque than Ram or Tundra. Sierra offers a locking rear differential, which locks when Ram and Tundra's limited slip slips. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. The GMC Sierra.
It's truck month. Get $6,000 total cash back on select 09 Sierra 1500 extended and crew cabs in stock. May the best truck win.
Bears 49ers Thursday Night Football on NFL Network.
Brett Favre 2 minutes away from leading the Vikings to a season sweep over his former team, the Green Bay Packers. You know, Troy, when we come to these cities, you read the local newspapers, and clearly the coverage of Favre coming back here during this entire week and all the way through the Sunday papers today. I thought they did a really nice job of trying to put into perspective on so many levels the relationship the fans in Green Bay have with Favre. I mean, when he came here, he's a guy in his early 20s, liked to hang out in the bars and do what a lot of guys in their 20s like to do that are single. Then he got married, became a father. Remember the Monday night game where his dad had died the night before? He comes out, clearly a very emotional night. They rooted for his wife, Deanna. She was battling breast cancer. I mean, they watched this guy go from a young man to an adult. Much like fans in Dallas watched you do the same thing after you left UCLA. And really a lot of nice stories written, even with the rivalry and maybe some of the bad blood that has transpired since he left here 2 years ago.
Well, it's been a love affair with Brett Favre and the fans here in Green Bay for 16 years. You know, and no one would have ever thought that you would see someone like Brett with the career that he had go on and play anywhere else. And it's been hard. I mean, it's been emotional for those that have been a part of it, the players, Brett Favre, but it's been emotional for these fans for all the reasons that you just said. You know, I'm asked a lot as to what I'm most impressed with at 40 years old about Brett playing, and it hasn't really been his performance, because you kind of expect that. It's been that he's been able to come back each week and play. And you talked about this being their bye week. Now, this comes at a really good time for Brett Favre. In fact, he said that this week he missed some practice time for the first time and had to get into the cold plunge, which is, I never liked getting into it because it is so cold, but he had to get into it just to try to get ready for this ball game here today. And I think that's the big question. You know, is he going to maintain this level of play as we move through this season?
And you look at this Minnesota team, you and I in the last 3 weeks have seen two of the best teams in the NFC, Minnesota and New Orleans. Saints are still undefeated. Could you imagine those two teams getting together in a dome?
Well, I will tell you that, you know, now having seen the Vikings and also having covered the Saints this year, I think the Saints, as we sit here tonight, are the cream of the crop in the NFC.
We're down to only 2 unbeatens. Matt Flynn takes over at quarterback. And they pitch it once, then a fumble.
Matt Flynn's pass complete to Lee.
And it's covered up by Green Bay. Well, Brett Favre will receive congratulations from his teammates. We're going to stop the clock with 2 seconds remaining. And now it'll expire, and the Vikings go to 7-1. The Packers slip to 4-3. Former Packers Ryan Longwell and Brett Favre celebrating the 38-26 win. Troy enjoyed it. We send you now bonus coverage to the desert, where Chris Myers and Brian Billick will take you home from the Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals. So long, everybody. Steve Breston carries